So, good morning, and thank you for joining us for another Sales and Marketing FriTalks. Every second Friday, we share insights, best practices, and anecdotes from technology companies. And today, our guest is Andrei Burlutskiy, Head of Marketing at Master of Code Global, a conversational AI company with more than 250 employees and experts across United States, Canada, and Ukraine, who are really developing very unique AI solutions for their customers globally. Welcome, Andrei.
Hello, Andres. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
Great. So my fellow partner Roland is also joining us today. Hopefully you can see him as well. So
Yeah.
Hi, Roland.
Hi, Roland.
Hi, great to see you guys. Sorry for being late. Something happened with my internet in the most inappropriate moment.
Yeah, it happens. No worries. So we have a very exciting topic today to discuss. And the topic is about the brand and the way how to differentiate on the global battlefield with the help of your uniqueness of your product. And let us start with maybe defining what actually the uniqueness of the brand and of the product means and why it is so important. So, Andrei, what do you think? What is your experience? And
Well, yeah, I think it's a good question. And nowadays, to talk about what brand is and why companies need it is pretty philosophical question. Because in the end of the day, first of all, the brand is everything your company is doing and everything your company is, starting from people in your company, your products, your software you are using in the company, like how you look, how your marketing materials looks like, etc. And in the end of the day, the meaning of the brand is like what exactly your company wants to achieve and how brand can help you with that. So how company should look like and what should do in order to achieve different types of goals, whether it's to be recognized in the global market or to be recognized by leading market players like Amazon, Microsoft, Gartner, etc. Or maybe you want to be a benchmark for others, and then you need to have the different type of brand and brand promotion in order to achieve it. And actually, one of the most burning questions for many businesses is recruiting new people, talents, and this is also can be done with the help of the right and a good brand. How you think, Andres? What's your opinion on the brand for the company?
Yeah, I think nowadays where the competition is so high, and if you're especially looking to the technology landscape, technology market, right? So there are so many different players offering, different or basically the same solution,
all the
right?
Same, yeah, right.
Yeah, all the same. So they offer either like very similar services to you, or they offer very similar solutions. What do you provide, right? And then for customers, it's super hard to really, decide who is better. If you start to compare just feature by feature, it's probably will be, dead end and very hard to compete. And therefore,
Right.
I believe that the role of brand becomes much more important in this competitive game, because that is how people actually choose whom to work with. If you think of your own experience, if you enter to the grocery shop, what you will buy, right? So you will buy probably brands you trust and brands you love, right? So Roland, what is your take on that?
Well, I have slightly different opinion here, and my experience mostly is in B2B with technology companies, usually small ones. I think that if you are a small business, brand is, I would say, in B2B, if you have complex solution, brand is not your first priority. First and foremost, you have to actually be able to show your value. Let's communicate what your solution helps you to do, because people very often have rather exotic needs, and for those needs, they are unlikely looking for some kind of established brands. They would be quite open to deal with the guy somewhere in Riga, in Kiev, in Copenhagen, in Mali, whatever, if they know that this guy can sort their exact pain that they have. And I don't think that in the beginning it has much to do actually with brand. Brand perhaps comes later when you want to scale and when it really helps you to actually get sales close. But first thing is just explain what you do, what kind of pain you solve. What do you think, guys?
Yeah. Oh, I think definitely. So that's probably the starting point for everything. How do you position yourself? And I think this is exactly the question. What comes first, your positioning or brand, and how these two things are different or similar? What do you think, Andre? So what is difference between positioning and differentiation, for instance? Do you have any view on that?
Yeah, I think Roland is absolutely right saying that value is a foundational thing, because you can have a great brand, a very exciting, a very viral, but when customer is coming to you and you don't have this foundational thing in terms of what is the value you bring to the customer, what the solution you provide, you will just fail. So this is like the good question. When I was preparing for our conversation, you can have a great brand, for example, and bad product or weak value proposition. And vice versa, you can have a great product but a very weak brand, a very weak positioning in the global market or local market, etc. So it's a kitchen. It's a chicken and the eggs, right? Story all the time. But the thing, guys, I'm thinking about nowadays, just because of the circumstances, the environment we live in, is that for the company, their very great step to break through and differentiate product or company or brand in the global local markets are actually emotions that you can include into your product, and in the end of the day into your brand. Doesn't matter, B2C, B2B, people are looking for moreover, good emotions for the good mood. Right now in COVID-19 pandemic times, emotions playing the biggest role here. And this is like what me as a marketer, this is what I'm bet on when I talk about how to position your brand through product features, is actually to start even more thinking about emotional connection and emotional touch through product with your customers.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think emotions are part of your brand. That's even undiscussable, I think. However, as Roland said, imagine this small or mid-sized IT company, right? Not the global big names, right? They have limited resources, they have limited capacity, and they have very, very specific and concrete goals to be achieved, right? They need to generate revenue, to generate sales, and many of them focusing just on doing that, and they're going after new customers, and trying to sell. And I think Jens just had a very good point through the comments, that value creation is the first what comes, right, in the game. So you need really to create the value first for your customers, and then you can build on that further, right, to differentiate. But
Andre, let me ask you a question then. You referred to the small businesses, small companies. So let ask ourselves and our viewers right now on this broadcast the question: if there is any dependencies of how strong will your value proposition between size of the company that you have, like if it is connected to the size of your company. This is the first question. Who are those people who develop value proposition at Tesla and for example at IBD, at your company? Okay, so who are those people? The second question is almost the same, but regarding the product that company is developing. those people who develop a product itself, product managers or I don't know, designers, what is the biggest difference between those who are working in our companies in Ukrainian, in Croatian, in Danish, Estonian, Lithuanian companies, and between company like Emirates, or let's take the same, okay, Apple not, okay, Tesla, let it be the same, or Walmart. It's actually I will be running ahead. It's actually the same people. It has the level of, it has a question of the level of those people, but actually, if you have the list of resources, the access to the information, to the best case studies, you just go, learn, and let's say repeat smart. You just can copy the best examples to make your product design great and to make your value proposition great. What are the challenges you think for in this area that cannot be solved in this manner?
I mean, answering maybe your first question, and it would be really good to get our listeners today also sharing their opinion. I think there is definitely the correlation between size of the company and your ability to execute and create strong value proposition or strong brand. Let's put it that way. I think, and I explain why. So first of all, I think, at least from our experience working with many IT companies here in Europe, what we see that in most of cases, these are very well established and very well developed technical teams, technical, and in some cases also sales teams. But in most of cases, they actually have either very limited or no marketing, resources. Just few of them. We have worked with some of them recently as well. Really started to invest into marketing as a strategic, initiative, and that also explains why I believe that there is still correlation between your size and your ability to create brand which is globally recognized and differentiated. It doesn't mean that you can or you should be necessarily like 1,000 employee company, but nevertheless you have some basic resources to be covered. Like you have to be investing to that. You have to have some specialists, and this can be done not necessarily with your in-house resources only, right?
Yeah, as well. Sure. But if we go straight forward to the product itself, right? We really can small company, okay, maybe not like 1-2 people, but let's think for a moment that even company with 2, 3, 5 people on board, startup company, can develop a product and product features that will be, will excite and explode the global audience, global potential customers, etc. So it can be easily done. And I have such examples. For example, the company, I think we have some sound from Roland's. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I think we have. I have great examples. The recent one, and this is like example from Ukraine. This is a company called Reface.ai. I took its example not because it's from Ukraine, from my country, but because this startup has exploded globally with the product they did. They, just created this fun experience when you can take your photo and replace celebrities, replace the face of celebrities with your face from Hollywood films, photos, etc. And it was virally catched up by Justin Bieber, Snoop Dogg, Britney Spears, etc. And all of them were taking their photo, making those replaced their faces with other faces, published in the internet, and it was fantastic results. But the interesting thing, what they promote with this option is actually they promote their machine learning or deep learning services. This is also very, very interesting. So how they did it was a fun experience, kind of gamification. Now the question to our audience, to us: how challenging is it to really create a faster, bigger, exciting product or feature that will virally take your company, your brand, and will bring it to the top of the world and differentiate from others?
Yeah, it's a very good example you are bringing, and let's see what people, if any, will share. But I think that then it comes to really like focusing on innovation, and then monetizing this innovation also for the brand purposes, right?
Right. That's it. And actually, you mentioned the monetization. Yes, and this part should be also like critical, because you can innovate in the product feature, but you can also innovate in terms of how you distribute it. It also can be kind of feature that will differentiate you a lot. For example, in our past with you at Microsoft, you remember the subscription model, for example, which has been introduced not by the Microsoft, but in B2B area. Before it was introduced by Apple to subscribe for the applications. What it can be right now, I don't know. Maybe some microtransactions or forever licensing. This is also types of innovations, and this is part of product feature. Not only excite, but also how you sell it. And is it comfortable for your customers to purchase it from you if you are software as a service company, of course, not a servicing. That's I think the critical thing. And many companies are afraid actually that that all the features has been already produced, and amazing features has been already developed and introduced to the market, to the global market. And this is like the thing I want everybody to forget. Everything you want to develop, you dream to develop, has been already developed. Just make it better, make it bigger, make it more brave in terms of feature. Ask companies, advertising companies or consulting companies to help you to promote it, or maybe to organize some sessions through which you can develop or improve your product. There are a lot of tools that can be used for actually improve your product, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Roland, what do you think? Any opinion on that?
I'm a bit skeptical, and that's again maybe related to my specific background. My first job was back in 90s. Actually, walking from apartment to apartment, knocking on doors, selling stupid little cheap water heaters. Guess why? Because in my town, central heating was not working. That's how I was making money as a teenager, right? But one thing I learned very clearly, that if you can knock on the door and you can explain old lady in 1 minute what you are offering, how much it costs, and in another minute you can actually demonstrate it, well, that works. And somehow I'm very, very, very in favor of finding ways to very clearly demonstrate the benefits of your product very much upfront. I think branding becomes important when you want to scale, when you want to use much more indirect model, basically not knocking on door, but having customers coming to you. And actually on previous talk, Ginsmednis talked about that a lot. But that is, I think, in a stage when companies perhaps are either more mature, or when they have injection of cash from venture capital specifically to go go globally, because you cannot scale without the brand. Actually, that's like a kind of prerequisite.
You for sure you need money to to develop a great product, but you need to understand that you go in this direction. And I agree with your Roland saying. I just wanted to add that if we're talking about IT companies and IT market, I will say it's more than ever easier to develop a wow product. For me as a marketer, one of the wow products I'm using called Copy.ai. It's a tool for copywriters. When you just give a task or text to the service, and it helps you to develop value proposition, titles for the Facebook, for Instagram, for YouTube, and many other stuff. This is also pretty viral effect from the company which has been appeared in the California. This one example from the California. Can we develop such kind of products that will create this wow effect in the age of AI? Come on, in the age of technologies, low-code technologies, AI technologies are open and available for anyone. We can, for us, if we just as IT companies, product companies, to be smart enough to find the cool feature and to develop it, having access to the low-code or pretty cost-effective technologies to do it. This is like what I'm thinking and what I observe when I'm looking at current trend, what product companies are doing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of our future, and I bet the future is within AI, within whatever we call artificial intelligence. It's there. So you need to include AI into your product features in order to be on the wave. Otherwise, it will be harder for you to to stand out with your brand.
Yes.
Okay. Can you talk a bit? I mean, maybe give some ideas, or how would you approach if you were, let's say, now you're working in pretty sizable company which has success already. But can you recommend what would be the first step for smaller companies who want to establish global brand and who want to be able to sell because of the strength of their brand? What would be the best ways to start, or how to think about it?
And maybe, but to add just from my side on top of this question, also considering that you are playing on highly competitive and highly commoditized market already. So the chatbots kind of available both free and paid from almost anywhere, right? So could you share some tips and best practices how your company really achieved this level of the differentiation, and what was the behind that, and how it can be applied by smaller companies, as Roland mentioned already?
Yeah, our company has been small as well. Our founder, he established this company many years ago, and on the way of delivering different types of projects, we've been looking for our projects that we have already completed. We interviewed our customers in terms of what are their pains, how it can be addressed with technology. We brainstorm it, and then come back to our offices and started to brainstorm internally, like what we can bring to the market to make our existing product better, or or addressing the really needs of the customers, but not only current needs, for example, but also like 2, 3, 5 years beyond. Looking at analytics, looking what Gartner is saying about technologies. Because, for example, chatbots, you mentioned it absolutely correctly. Chatbots are already not the past, but they're already on plateau of productivity if we look into the Gartner product development cycle, sorry. That's why we're looking, okay, what other technologies exist right now? And we look at what people are doing with chatbots, what people are doing with each other. They talk to each other. They talk to chatbot. They do so-called or perform digital conversation with it. Okay, let's go in this direction. Let's make our bots not just a typing bots. Let's do them. Let's make them talk with people like a human. When you can talk with the software Like you talk to any human saying, hey, can you find my document that I was watching or filling yesterday, developing yesterday? And your chatbot is not saying you, sorry, I don't understand you. He knows, okay, I understood what's that, and he goes and brings you back. It kind of also robotic process automation. It's not simply the chatbots. Then we go beyond. We understand that people not only want to type something, but they want to talk with the chatbots or voice bots. And we understand that voice interfaces is also the future, because Microsoft is here with Siri, because, hey, Google is here, Amazon Alexa is here. So we need to introduce it also to B2B. And we look into the market. I see that there are like 5-10 companies in the world, except China, who are doing that. I mean, doing this like a true business. I see they have great cases confirmed by their customers. They participate on the conferences. They do a very high level, very high level quality blog articles where I can really learn and understand that they're mature in this part of the business, in the voice conversational interfaces. And we also go in this direction. What we, for example, decided how to differentiate ourselves is how we create the design, this dialogue between human or person and machine. And this is our differentiated value proposition. We have in-house expertise of conversation designers who help to develop this type of flow or dialogue when person can really achieve his or her goal talking to the software. This is like what we do. But again, I want to highlight that we've been a small company, like many of those who are watching us right now. This is the story.
Okay, I think we are getting close to end of time, but I want to quickly ask a question. Now you explained the difference. A question, but how do you communicate it? Because these things are kind of behind the curtain. Technical differences. How you make sure customers understand it quickly?
Roland, these for me. So you ask the complex question, and let me ask in short. From one side, how you can communicate. You can have a lot of money and you invest into the marketing to communicate. The second story, you can have a good product which really demonstrates your uniqueness in terms of features you have there. And what we do, for example, we focus on bringing customers to our website, and we work to improve our chatbot on the website, so it will really show our experience to the customers in conversation design. So my experience with our product and product features starts from my website. This is like my channel for now. Do I monopolist in this area? No, I don't. But we do have a lot of customers, a lot of partners who trust us and see that we are really the market player and we differentiate ourselves very strong. So this is like the story. It's a very simple step. Give your customer experience with your product on the very early contact or engagement phase. This is how would I do it. We have like 1 minute left. Maybe you will give your view, like summary for our audience, like what to do next and how to perform in their business now.
Yeah, I think first of all, really thanks everyone for providing comments. I see there is quite a discussion happening on the chat window, and we clearly see that also people agree that there is no really big difference between size of the company and ability to bring the value to the customers, right? So, and the first step, as both you, Andrei, shared and what Roland mentioned, that you have to be very, very clear about what is the value proposition, what you are bringing. So, and for that, you need to understand your customers very deeply. There are different ways, what you, Andrei, already shared, like interviews, studies, many other things, right? When you did that, then the question is about delivering your promise, right?
Yes.
And there are different channels of doing that. So you can definitely do it directly with your customers. and gaining trust and gaining their references. That would be probably one of the first steps in the journey, right? But when you already have sizable customer base and you can take a next step, you can use and leverage this customer references and customer studies to expand and to start building your brand, and then go beyond traditional direct channels. So then you can employ digital, you can employ many other ways to tell your story. But you have to be really, really clear from the beginning what your story is about and how this is different from what people have on the market already. Anything to add from your side, guys?
No, you gave a great summary. We cannot exclude all those required things from the theory of brand, of marketing, etc. We just always need to think about the world we live right now and what are the resources and opportunities and options it opens for us, it gives to us in order to make our companies better, brands better, products better, etc. This is like the story that I would like to end up our conversation today.
Yeah. So thank you, Andrei, for participation. Thank you, Roland, for being with me together and hosting this event. Guys, just also big thank to you all who was with us today and was watching us through LinkedIn or other channels. Please share your opinion with us. Please also share this event with your maybe friends and colleagues, as we want to really build a community where we can share insights, best practices, and anecdotes between each other. And by the way, for the next event, we have a very special guest already agreed with us, with whom we will talk about the profitability of IT companies and what are the building blocks for being profitable in managed services business. So this guest will be from Microsoft, and he's responsible for the Central Eastern Europe region and taking care of partner go-to-market strategy. And so stay with us, follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to our podcast, and we will definitely be announcing this event very, very shortly. I am expecting this to be very good discussion as well. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of the Friday, and talk to you then in a couple of weeks.